Perfect. To start, can you introduce yourself very shortly, explain a bit to us what you're doing for Six?
So my name is Mu. I'm the co-CEO at Six Network.
Perfect, thank you. Regarding Six, can you tell us a bit the story, like the epic story of Six Network? How did it start? How did you get the idea? Why you decided to do this 7 years ago?
So Six was starting 7 years ago back in the ICO day, right? So back then, my background is a tech entrepreneur and I also investor in several blockchain. Back then, there's one project called Omise Go. Yeah, so I got to learn about how the Six network how the blockchain works. So and then we were thinking that actually there are many business opportunities that we can transform into the blockchain business back then. Yeah. So Six was started 7 years ago. At the beginning, it just like we were uploading the IP business. So my traditional business, my old business is and it's still working until now. I run a platform called Ookbee in Thailand. So it's quite popular. We have like over 7 million monthly active users until now. And then there's a lot of IP uploading on the platform. So Six was started as the registering this IP on the blockchain. That's like 7 years ago.
Thank you. Many things I want to get back to in what you just said that because your path is very interesting. But maybe
Yes.
starting with the fact that you guys started 7 years ago. Can you tell me
Mhm.
a bit what's changed in the past 7 years? Like how did you see this whole, Web3 ecosystem change? What the AI changed? How did you see it evolve?
There are many things change. I think the foremost thing we have to discuss is like back then on the user front, there's no actually much user back then, right? Everyone is kind of like crypto investors. So they are coming into the project as like investing into the project and then they get like token and then they make profit on those token. Of course that's happening until today. But what is different is that right now we see a lot of like real use case on the Web3 projects. Yeah. Right now, Six is focusing on like making our own chain and also at RWA we start tokenize like real asset in Thailand, especially onto blockchain. So on the user front is really different. The second thing in what's happening locally here is like a Thai regulation, right? So Six start as a local project in Thailand, but then we eventually partner with many partners outside of Thailand, including Korea, and then we listed in Vietnam, for example. So the regulation in Thailand is more friendly. So in a way that we have like the Thai government, they offer like a exchange license, OTC, like, including the ICO portal where people who have the blockchain project can start listing and working with the regulator and start listing their project on the local crypto exchange. So that's making it much easier this day for partners or traditional asset owner who want to tokenize their asset and then partnering with us. So these are two different things. And of course, the market is getting bigger. So right now, after like many years, we have much more liquidity and traders in the market. So I think these are the few key things that changed in the past 7 years, I think. Yeah.
I have a bit of a side question about
Mm-hmm.
how you guys work with your clients. Let's say that I'm
Mm-hmm.
interested in tokenizing some of my assets and I want to work with the
Mm-hmm.
network. How would it work? Can you run me a bit through the process?
Okay, so there's two kind of network, right? So if you just want to tokenize your asset and then is in the closed loop. For example, you have your asset, but you don't plan to sell it publicly, right? Then technically our platform can be worked with anyone. But for example, if you own like for example, I myself I own a yacht and then I tokenize my own yacht, right? And then in tokenize my own yacht, I want, for example, one yacht is maybe cost me 1 million US dollar, and I wanted to tokenize it to 20 tickets with the 50,000 US dollar each, right? And then it's kind of like everyone who can buy one of the tickets can be like timeshare, like co-own the whole asset. If we sell the asset, we can reimburse them with the cash to each ticket. But if they want to trade, right, trading whole yacht may be difficult, but they can trade fraction of the yacht, and then people who buy the tickets, they become like part of the owner, and then timeshare the yacht, right? This can be done on the legal front, where we start to find the entity to hold the yacht, And then legally we start to make like, for example, maybe it can be token or NFT, right? So 20 NFTs, and then that is tradable in our platform. And then whenever we trade the NFT or tokens, the legal entity will help transferring the ownership of the yacht to the new owner. And then we also use the NFT or token to track the how many times each person is used, how much money is left in each ticket, etc. So that's technically we can do. But if the asset size is bigger, right? For example, if it start going to like 10 million, in some cases it's like 50 million, like some of the project that work with us, then it's very difficult to sell this asset among friends, right? So what they are doing is that they probably want to make it like really liquid and then tradable in the public market. In that case, if they want to advertise in the local market, they need to work with the legal entity and the government, what you call a government agency, right? Project owner in Thailand called ICO portal. So what ICO portal do is like they kind of like have the license from the local SEC, and then they work with the project owner to make sure that everything is legalized, and then the public customer feel safe to buy this project. So then we as a six network, we going in as a technical partner. So we work with the project owner, we work with the government agency, and then we work as a technical partner to help everything smooth on the blockchain. That's how we do in the two different kinds of project in Thailand at the moment.
That's perfect. That's super. Thanks. You mentioning how you guys are working at the moment, and I think that this is a very good use case of how you can leverage the blockchain to actually make real use cases, you know? But
Mhm.
how do you see that evolving in the future? What do you think is going to be the next step? How do we make sure that more and more people get to use it and basically that there are more users, is more recognized, is more clean, is more safe? Like, how do you make it grow this whole structure?
Okay. So I think right now when I look at the market itself, right, I kind of think that the project that's got tokenized at the moment are things like the more luxury thing, right? Luxury things like people don't want to own it 100%. So they try to tokenize it and try to fraction it to be like timeshares, or fraction it to be more like a luxury item that they don't want to own by themselves, right? But in the long run, I think in order to make everything more popular, I think we have to start tokenize like normal stuff in the daily life, right? So for example, I think everything can be tokenized or tradable. For example, like a club membership can be done, or even like right now, people start to what do you call, what one of the interesting projects, right, that's happening in Thailand is that they tokenize the whole condominium building, but the fraction is so small into like instead of selling as the unit, right, they tokenize it to be 1 square inch. So it's really really interesting that people can buy the condominium building and invest in it, but can buy just one square inch. In this way, people who cannot afford to buy the whole building or buy the whole room, they can just buy each square inch, and when the project gets some earning, like they rent out the whole building or each floor, each room, they will pay the dividend by square inch that you own. And if you purchase enough square inch and then you collect the whole room, you can trade it back and then reimburse it back as the whole room. Right? This kind of projects will make the project and accessible to more smaller investor in the long run. Yeah. So I think that's how I think like it's make more like smaller investor who coming in, and ticket size for each token and each NFT have to be small enough. Then it's gonna be very popular in the long run.
I love the share ownership.
Because like for investor, right, if they want to invest in the real estate, right, the minimum that they have to buy is like one, still too big for like normal people. But if they can do this, they get exposed to the real asset class. Like they can say like, oh, this is not stock, this is not a crypto, it's actually real estate. But I own like a top project, but just like maybe 1 square meter, for example. So that's a good use case.
And in the same
Mm-hmm.
way, like if these are the next steps, what is next for Six? In which direction are you guys developing? Knowing that you've been like at the forefront, you've been like one of the first companies doing this. What is next? Where are you moving in 2025 and in the future?
There's two things, right? So I think more and more use case have to be coming up, and then be like a showcase, so more people understand what we try to do, and then more public customer have to. So I think what we are doing now is like we try to find a good showcase in each industry, and then try to approach the leader in that industry and try to like convince them to come up with some pilot projects. Right now, most of the projects that tokenize are in real estate market. They are more use case like memberships or it's like what do you call club member card, etc. That can be all be tokenized. We expect to have like at least like 5 to 10 interesting project in 2025, and then we can start showcase this to more and more project owners and customers to join the real world asset tokenization. So this is kind of like a real business, right? We try to find the gap in the between the investor, the project owner, and the people who provide the technology, right? And then link them together in order to create the real world. And then hopefully, right, in the next few more years, we will see this kind of thing as a like normal stuff. Like everyone should do it.
Nice. Okay, now I have a bit more specific question that will be translated I mean, subtitled in Korean. Because you actually have quite a massive Korean community. As we know, Korea is a bit of a market where people like to try new things, especially in blockchain and especially also in RWA, like they're big fans.
Mm.
Why do you think you have so many fans in Korea? Why is there a Korean audience interested in Six and why they should be interested in Six?
All right. So thanks for this question, right? So right from the origin of the Six network, right? Because of the back then, and always until now, right? Korean is a really big crypto market, right? And then I think it's one of the country that the crypto popularity is like skyrocket. So back then, 7 years ago, when we launched the project, we know from day one that we have to start the project with the Korean partnership. So since then, our ICO was like start in both market at the same time, Thai and Korea. We have like our own local team in Korea in order to help talking to customer and do marketing, and then try to come up with the projects, right? On Korea, we work like with back then we work with like few K-pops, try to tokenize them, make NFT for them, etc. So that's why I think like because of this work in the past 7 years, that's why we have like many local Korean fan in the Korean market.
And we hope it will continue. Okay, now I have a bit of a different question. Because you, on top of Six Network, you're also an investor. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you founded a company called 500 Tuk Tuk, in which you
Mm, mm, mm,
in Thai and in more widely in startups and growing businesses. If you
mm, mm.
give me the three things that you look at first to determine immediately if you want to invest, what would be these three things?
So there are so many entrepreneurs coming up, right? And then what makes is like last few years is different from the last 10 years is the coming of the social network, right? And then like in Thailand, people love TikTok so much. And then after that, it's like Instagram, etc. But 10 years ago, it's really difficult to do like tech investment. We see like really wide spectrum between tech and non-tech companies. But with the advent of like TikTok, etc., right? Even traditional business, when they jump on this like TikTok craze, they can start selling a lot. And then the gap between tech and non-technology is become like not that much different anymore. Yeah. Any brand can sell a lot without you have to be a tech companies. So this day when I look at the entrepreneur, the first thing is that there are people who willing to use technology, right? They don't have to be tech company, right? Back then I only invest in like tech companies because like the scalability of the business. But right now it can be any business. It can be F&B, it can be cosmetic, it can be anything. As long as the owner is willing to selling online first, then the scalability just jump on the like a social media platform, then it's an interesting business. That's the first thing. Once the vision of the owner is clear, the second thing is that can they find the smart people to work with them, right? So before, I think like people like Elon Musk probably not making the SpaceX rocket by himself. What he's good thing that he have vision, right? And then he can find smart people who can do that and work for him. So when I talk to the owner, I try to look for the ability to attract the smart people to work for him or not. If he have, then one and two, then we start investing small. At the end of the day, we start to investing something small, and then we keep track. If they're good, we invest more. That's how we do, right? And then of course we have to diversify because like investing in business is like really risky. So what I do, like every year I try to invest at least like 30 to 50 companies, right? Of course, like half of it will fail. But if I got one project that like can return like 50 times, then I cover all my loss. So that's how I
Okay, that's very clear. Thanks. I have one last one, very short one, and I'm
yes.
sure you hear it a lot, but you're also very famous for being part of the jury of Shark Tank here in Thailand, and
Ah
um,
yes.
and you are working, and we are both working in Web3. You mentioned Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a very successful businessman, but he's also into Web3, right? Into crypto. And do we need? How could we make basically the web? I mean, how could we make smart people be more open to Web3? This is my question. How can we make so that tomorrow in Shark Tank we have more Web3 people, more blockchain projects, more new things?
I try to like answer this question for a while, and I realized that at the end of the day, because of the technology gap is quite big, and then Web3 is not that easy to use at the moment. We have to understand that even just to trade the token, right, working with like DeFi and using like MetaMask to go swap coin is way harder than centralized exchange, right? And then most of people are still in like Web2, but it's like exchange for crypto. So the experience have to be much easier and then easier to understand. So if Web3 people want to convince like Web2 people to move more and more, they have to be open-minded that at the end of the day, maybe they need something the user experience that have to be much easier to convert these people, right? Because beside that, right, people are good on Web2 at the moment. Everything are good. We like play social media, we play X, and then we can realize that most of the things that happening on Web2 it is good. Very big pain that it's not decentralized and people can abuse the system and it's very centralized. But beside that, the other thing are fine, right? So in order for that, people have to in Web3 have to try to work with Web2 people and say maybe they just have to write on the Web2 people and just provide some technology that make it more decentralized to the existing Web2. That's maybe make things faster, I think.
Okay, yeah, perfect. I completely, yeah. I think we're
Yeah.
at the end of the time, so I don't know if you have one last thing you want to add, maybe a small call to action for people to start using Six. Do you have like
Ah,
5 minutes
yes.
to join?
Yes, thank you. And then thank you, Westblock. Right. First, I have to thank you, Westblock, for this podcast. And then, of course, Six is focusing on the RWA, and then we one of the leader in Thailand. I think we are the biggest one who tokenize project in terms of AUM, etc. So just in case, like if you have any project you want to tokenize or just want to partner with us, feel free to contact us on our any of our social media. Yeah, thank you, Westblock, for this interview.
Thank you so much.